trades the whole way through.
Okay, awesome. Everything is good to go.
If that makes sense.
Oh, it's got like its own full-on upgrade system where like you use your experience as like currency to upgrade your characters. Like you all start out as like your DM sets up the difficulty rating for the campaign. And so, like, easy would be, like, civilians, grunts, that kind of thing. Like, medium would be, like, jackals, UNSC Marines, that kind of thing. And then, like, so on and so forth. Where, like, legendaries, like, your Spartan 2s, your elite zealots, that kind of thing.
Okay, Alright, so my idea of the system is totally... Okay.
Yeah.
I understand it now.
Yeah, it's...
So my
I
system
studied
idea
it.
is on the... So my idea is on the complete flip side of what these people came up with.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So where they're breaking it down. Okay.
Hello, like chat. That. So sorry for the delay. Oh my god. Fuck. So, yeah, no, like, sorry for being late. I am so sorry. I had a lot on my plate today, and I began scripting for Horus Rising, because Dark Imperium is a 12-hour audiobook, and since I don't have the physical book of Dark Imperium, taking notes on that is a nightmare.
Wait, it's a 12-hour... I thought it would have been longer.
Nope, it's a 12-hour audiobook.
Interesting.
Hi, Al.
Yes,
you can come into the chat if you want. You are more than welcome to come into the chat, Al.
We switched over to a chill chat stream with Announcer of Games.
Yeah, we're talking
So anyone
Warhammer.
who was wondering why you heard somebody saying hi, chat, yeah, that's what happened.
Dark Imperium is actually about as long as the first Game of Thrones book.
Yep. There is something...
Random side tangent.
What's up?
Are we going to touch on how cool the new Emperor Children models are?
Oh,
that was last stream.
That was last stream. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I meant once again because I found out something
have
very interesting. Yes, actually, because technically you can run all 3 Plague Lords on the table now for Nurgle. But Emperor's Children, what would happen if you did nothing but Noise Marines on the board?
You'd have... From what I understand is that they start out like Blade Guard squads. It's 3 men or 4 men, and then you can only go up to like 6 or 7. As far as I understand.
That's...
You would also have no anti-vehicle capability.
Apparently... Oh, wait. Hey, boss, I doesn't have any kind of voice anymore. Ah, shit, I'm sorry, Knight. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, like, Owl Darts, Owl Doll Arts, I gave you a special role, because I like you, and you're allowed to come into the VC if you want. We'll be there soon. Nice. So yeah, sorry about the delay, everybody. As I said, so, just a quick few updates for everybody if you haven't seen it. I got a job. I am now a editor for Lost in Spiral. I am her official editor now. So, woo, yay, congrats to me. The worthless, penny on the dollar Canadian is getting UK money.
That's a statement to be made.
The budget Canadian.
The budget Canadian.
Okay.
Oh, you know, we just, we're budget. We're very much budget for the rest of the world, eh? But anyway. Nah, it's great. It's wonderful. Very honored that she hired me on as her editor. The first video, should be up sometime soon. We're also doing a stream together, me and her, on Friday.
Oh, is it more Halo shenanigans?
Oh, it's Halo, too. No spoilers, chat.
Oh! Question.
What's up?
You guys haven't started it, right?
No, we have not.
It's gonna be... Okay, so I need you to be aware of this. With no skulls on the Sacred Icon mission, Halfjaw, if he has an infection form hit him, they can take him into the fucking sky.
Oh, good to know.
And he doesn't come down by chance. So, you might have to off yourselves.
He doesn't open anything, though. He's not important.
No, the game acts like you didn't hit the checkpoint, though, to finish the mission.
Oh, okay, good to know. Well, we'll be aware of that.
You know where you're supposed to do the little 4 waves of flood to defend the camp? Yeah, if he goes up into the stratosphere,
Good to know.
yeah, the game might respawn him. Or he'll come crashing down out of nowheres and send shit flying.
All right. Well, thank you for the heads up. But yeah, so that's the plan for Friday. Another update is that Dark Imperium's taking a bit because it's an audiobook and I'm having to listen to it while I work on other shit. So, like, taking notes for that and, like, rewinding it because I don't have the physical copy on me. So we're doing Horus Rising as our first Coffee Club video. And that's what I'm calling it, Coffee Club.
Hello.
Hello, Owl! Good to see you!
Hi.
Hello. It's been a while. Wow.
Little wow.
Yeah.
Alright, I decided to open up Warhammer Inquisitor. Why not?
So, other announcements to be made. Dawn of War 3, I haven't started editing it yet because I haven't gotten the new background for it. Though, if worse comes to worse, I just start editing it and put in the background later. But that should be ready by my birthday, which is next Friday. So, woo! Stream on my birthday. How's that sound, everybody?
Sounds like I have a chance to perhaps make some chaos.
Maybe.
Sounds like someone has poor work-life balance.
Oh, I do have terrible work-life balance.
Wait,
I'm constantly stressed.
What's work-life balance?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. This is my way of feeling like I'm here and present.
Exactly. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, the new video should be up this Saturday. It is the Halo Reach playthrough with me, Lost in Spiral, Pen Ken Arts, and Lost in Spiral's boyfriend, Scott. Because every adventure needs a Scott, just like how every adventure needs a Bob. But there is another big thing that I want to address for a lot of people. So, do any of you know who Kaiser Neko is?
Yep.
Yes.
Um,
I'm afraid where this is going.
It's nothing bad. Well, it is
Okay.
bad,
Okay.
but not like the bad that you're thinking. So, Kaiser Neko, his editing rig crapped out on him.
ooh.
That is
Okay.
That is a $2
I-
grand investment.
I
That
went
is-
somewhere. I thought it was gonna be like someone digged up a racist tweet or something.
No, if anything, he dug that up on himself when he did like the DBZA commentaries.
That's.
Different times, dude. Different times.
Yeah, like there's. Controller disconnected. Please connect one. I'm not playing this on controller. You are
So-
insane right now.
For those that don't know, Kaiser Neko was the director of Dragon Ball Z Abridged from all the way from the beginning to the end. He was the guy in charge of that. He's the CEO of Team 4-Star. Really great guy.
And was the co-director for Hellsinger Bridge.
And lead editor on that one. He is someone who I admire so fucking much as a human being and as a creator. He inspired a lot of what my humor is to modern day and everything. So if you can, I put the Ko-fi link in the Discord and on any links where I put his Ko-fi link out. Please go give him support if you can. Don't even have to mention that I sent you. Just please. Guy works super fucking hard and genuinely he deserves the love and support. Anyway, what are we talking about today? Well, fuck the Imperium. The Imperium can burn for all I care.
Yeah.
We're talking about non-Imperial factions today. Because the Imperial Guard are getting their codex whenever the fuck they get it. But the next codex coming out is Eldar. So, live with that. And...
You mean your brother will gladly live with that?
Oh, yeah, no, he messaged me, like, I messaged him about the codex coming out, and he's like, fuck, it comes out on a time where I don't have money. And I'm like, do you just want me to buy it for you? And he's like, can you get me the special edition? So this is kind of a...
All I want from this is I want more of my clown boys.
They got lumped in together, so like...
I know, yeah, that's why.
But yeah.
Alright, I am making a very poor choice of fucking decisions here by playing Warhammer Inquisitor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to play Gates of Hell while doing this.
So, for those that don't know, the Xenos factions within Warhammer, including the Chaos factions, Space Marines, of course, are the most popular faction in 40k. They're the poster boys, whatever. And then it kind of, like, filters out to, like, the different Imperial factions under them, and then the Xenos factions get love, if not the Chaos factions. So I want to show some love to like the different Xenos factions. So if you have different questions or topics that you want to talk about or learn about, just ask in the chat there. There is a brand new Tau book that came out. What was it called, Will?
Called Elemental Council. And I have a synopsis of it here. If you would.
Before I have a question.
Okay.
Are we including minor races like the Hrud in this conversation or no?
I want to keep to like the playable factions.
Okay. Just want to mentally gather my thoughts.
The Hrud are they're a creature in and of themselves.
They're fun.
Question, does the Leagues of Votann count as a Xenos race?
Yes.
Yes, they do count. They are officially labeled by GW to be Xenos. They are different enough from humans.
They consider themselves a different species.
Yep.
Yeah,
and so
I
is
know
the
that.
Imperial.
I was just making sure that, like. Okay.
Yeah,
The Imperium doesn't necessarily. That's
no, during the Great Crusade, they got labeled as too different from humanity.
One debt
That
to
was
society
what
later.
started the whole Iron Warriors Imperial Fist fiasco.
Yeah, but they're also
thing for the sub.
yeah, but they're also sanctioned abhumans on Necromunda. So like the Imperium has differences of opinion.
It varies from different Votann group to Imperial group. Necromunda, they're abhumans. Anywhere else in the Imperium, it varies from abhuman to get the fuck off my planet.
And then the kin turn around and go, I see you are entering negotiations. Unload our means of negotiation.
I see you brought your negotiating tools. Jimmy, get the negotiating cannon! So they pull out a
Pretty
fucking
much.
Death Star.
See, all I can picture right now, with everything being said, is just fantasy dwarves from Warhammer going,
It's going in the book!
I mean,
"It's the book!
I mean,
The
yeah,
book?
having
The book!"
like, okay, and that you said you weren't really going to touch on them a lot. I can just very quickly, and it's not spoilers for the novel that just came out like a couple of months ago. They just had their first novel, which is called High Carol's Oath, and it expands on the lore that we got a little bit in the Codex, and then they've just released a Necromunda Necromunda book, which expands on their lore again. But the way the book is written, like the way the novel, it's like, I'm gonna straight up say it, it's the least grim dark 40k book I've ever read.
Well, it's just like dwarves in space doing dwarves in space things, right? It's no different than Deep Rock Galactic.
It's a bunch of dwarves going on an adventure to a lost hold.
I guess the only real difference, per se, is there's more demons involved.
There are no demons in this one. There are Chaos Space Marines and also orcs and also Tyranids, and they make Tyranids absolutely terrifying.
Which Tyranids really need that right now because they've been the butt of the joke for like so long. Someone did ask, what is with the Destroyer virus and Necrons? Haven't seen much about it in the Codex, and I'm curious what possibly brought it on. Okay, so a long time ago, a long time ago, during the War in Heaven, when the Necrons rebelled, when the Silent King was able to take control of the Necron forces, they shattered one of the Catan. This one, however, cursed the Necrons with the Flare virus. We don't exactly know how a Necron gets infected. We don't know if it's like a thing that like attaches to them and just affects them mentally, or if it's like some sort of weird program. But essentially, when a Necron is taken over by the Flare virus, it's a slow burn. Like they start they get body dysmorphia, or what's the term I'm looking for here?
No, that's
Scorpius,
accurate.
yeah.
It feels wrong, basically. They feel wrong in their bodies. So the virus slowly makes them want to be flesh again. But, Metal Skelly can't have flesh. So they start trying to, grab onto corpses. Like, grab the skin, put it on them, or start, trying to actually eat where there's no mouth, kind of a thing, right? Like, they're trying to be living again, and it's fucking with them. The Twice Dead King books actually go into it, where the main character and another character stumble upon a high-ranking Necron who's infected with the Flare virus, and it's embarrassing. Like, it's treated as, an embarrassment, whereas the other two are horrified by, what they're seeing. Just imagine this. You're in the presence of, a high king and his court, and then, as you and your friend go out to the balcony to have a smoke, you find the high king in the corner with, blood and flesh all over him. He's looking at you like a deer in headlights with, a severed arm in his hand, and he's like, oh, this is fucking embarrassing, I'm so sorry. And you're just like, that's not the problem here! It's that kind of thing, right? We don't know how it spread. Some books claim, it spread via contact between Necron to Necron, or something happens during the biotransference. It's wild and random, it's speculative, but it spreads from Necron to Necron. Eventually, they get to a point where they're, wreathed in skin. They've replaced their fingers with long, living metal blades, so that way they can easily flay people, so they can have their skin. Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get back to flesh and blood, but it's impossible. That's the Necron Destroyer, that's the Necron Flare virus. Horrible fucking thing to happen to them, genuinely.
Very horrible.
It's... As the characters in the Twice Dead King put it, it's not a fun virus.
Yeah, and the destroyer plague is something else. Destroyer plague basically makes them into nihilists, I believe.
I think so.
And they just, and I believe it's destroyers that are essentially nihilists and want to destroy all other life.
Yeah, it's a holdover from when they were alive. So, for those that don't know, the Necrons used to be flesh and blood, and they had the unfortunate happenstance of being born on a planet where its sun basically gave them cancer. And
generational cancer.
Generational cancer. No matter how far they went, no matter how many generations they were removed from the generation that, the colonies that came from the main planet, they were fucked as a species. So a lot of them became extremely nihilistic, because it's just our cities are literal tombs. We're born, and our life expectancy is maybe 15. Mm-hmm. So...
If it can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, if it's gonna... Murphy's Law. Eventually, they stumble upon the old ones, and they're like, oh my god, a race of beings that can rewrite DNA on a molecular level, our fucking saviors, right? And then they go and talk to the old ones, they're very gracious, they're very polite about it. And, they're, prostrating themselves in front of these giant fucking toads. And, they say, please, oh wise grandfather toad, spare our species this suffering. And then the frogs have the gall to say to them, no. Your suffering
No,
is what
fuck
the
you.
galaxy wanted. Is basically what they heard. Whereas the toads were like, yeah, no, we don't want to fuck with the delicate balance of life and nature, because, like, we fully understand
You
the
aren't
world.
ready yet.
It's like, when you understand the toad's perspective, no, it makes sense. But when you understand the constant suffering of the Necrontyr, fuck you, Toad. So,
the biggest problem from all of it, though, is there's no way for the Necrons to understand the true danger that's gonna come from them being fixed.
I mean, like, the thing is, on the plus side, they didn't then go off and find a bunch of chaos gods.
no, they found material gods, which
Yeah, I was about to say.
debatably worse or better. It's kind of like up to your interpretation. But so the destroyer.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I would have rather the Necrons run into Chaos Gods over what they did run into.
So the destroyer plague is a mental thing left over in a lot of Necrons from their Necrontyr day. The ones who were truly like, nah, fuck everything and everyone. They all gotta burn. And since they were giving living metal bodies, all they want to do is just burn everything. When the Necrons are throwing destroyers at you, it is truly a situation where the Necrons have deemed this, nah, it's not worth dealing with. So they just throw, like, the brainless, murder hobos at you. This is the equivalent of me throwing my murder hobo D&D party at you.
Whatever happens, I will do small amounts of cleanup at a later point in time.
Like, in the book, Infinite and the Divine, Trazyn the Infinite teleports onto this planet that he and Orican are fighting over, and he sees some destroyers going about their work. And he tells him, like, hey, I have clean here, fuck off. The destroyers tell him, no, we're gonna burn this place to the ground on orders of Orican the Diviner. And Trazyn just kills them. Because, like, there's no reasoning with that. It gets that bad for them. So, truly being a Necron sucks. Unless you're, what's his name again?
Trazyn?
Not Trazyn.
No, Emotech.
Emotech the Stormlord, yeah. Like, Emotech loves it.
Yeah, he loves it.
If the
Like,
Necron-
every time we do get a glimpse into just like in general how like Necrons think and stuff like that, I think it's absolutely fascinating. I really do think the Infinite and Divine really captures like how beings who live for millions of years would really think.
Oh, it's even funnier in Twice Dead King.
Oh, I need to get my hands on Twice Dead King.
Like, the beginning of the book is, it's a meeting between, like, this lower dynasty, right? And they're all just, like, gathered around in this meeting room. Their keeper of secrets, like, the guy who's, like, their, like, keymaster or whatever, he's an old senile fuck, and it's hilarious. Because they're just like, hey, where am I? What year is it? Like, it's that constantly
Who am
with
I?
him. Yeah, exactly. Like, who am I? And like, they
Who are
can't do anything
you?
about it. It's also really fascinating to see because, like, at the same time in that book, so you've all seen the 9th edition trailer. Like, you saw how dangerous and scary Necrons can be. The Twice Dead King books. You want to know how the Necrons see the Imperium? Where we think the Necrons are an apocalyptic level threat, they see the Imperium as that. Like, the Imperium shows up over their world, and the main character and his entire council are just like, oh god, it's the end of the world. Because, like, they're seeing the Imperial ships burn their planet. It's genuinely horrifying. And it's why I really like Xenos books from 40K. Because they give you a perspective that we haven't had. in Warhammer, and it's very much appreciated.
Uh,
Hi, Lee.
I forgot Nurgle's infestation is like your primary enemy type on Inquisitor.
We need more enemies than just like Nurgle in like recent 40k games.
I forgot Nurgle. Nurgle isn't the only enemy. Like, thankfully, there's the Dark Eldar you can go and fight. There's Tyranids you can run into, but like aboard the derelict ship I'm on, it's mostly Nurgle. Like the main storyline for Inquisitor is Nurgle.
But yeah, like some of the best things from like recent 40k literature, there was the mech. There was like the Orc writes them so fucking well. Wait, was it Guy Haley who wrote those?
Are we talking the Uthark Blackhawk stuff?
Yeah,
No, that's Mike Brooks.
Mike Brooks. My bad. It's Mike Brooks. Genuinely funny lad.
Mm-hmm.
Got a fucking bitchin' ass mohawk too. Wait, he also wrote Lion, Son of the Forest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird. He shifts from like very like I don't want to. It's a war story, but it's a war story told as a farce in Brutal Cunning, because the book is about orcs versus Adeptus Mechanicus. So like the most ordered, structured, rigid organization against orcs.
It's
glorious. To then
It's
doing Lion
horrifying.
Lion Son of the Forest, which is like just really well written, like 40k lore. Like it's like it's a good book. Like it's just, and it's like, yeah, this, if you're gonna reintroduce a major character like a Primarch, this is like how you should probably do it.
yeah, but so yeah, like if any of you have more questions about the Xenos races or any of their fluff, just ask away in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. There are some blind spots in my knowledge, like with the Eldar. I thought the Phoenix Lords had lived for like thousands of years. No, they're souls inside armor that someone has to sacrifice themselves for. And I'm just like, God, it sucks to be an Eldar. You gotta sacrifice a champion to Cain, so that way you can activate the avatar of Cain. You need only spawns when, like, a fucking Eldar bites it. Like, Christ.
If all of the aspect warriors are ever gathered together, it will be essentially the apocalypse. Like that is what the Eldar have foreseen.
Something I want to bring up talking about Eldar, actually. So, ironically, if the Eldar, and we've talked about this before, stopped fucking with time, a lot of our problems would stop being problems.
Yeah, that's a funny thing. So, in Warhammer 40k, for those that don't know, 40k punishes you if you look into the future. In the eternal logic of Warhammer 40k's universe, future sight that was not gifted to you directly, go fuck yourself, is the universe's response to you trying to like discern the future. It's why the Eldar, it's why when the Eldar predict something, it doesn't come to pass a lot of the time, because they see it and then 40k goes, okay, fuckwit, now I'm gonna make it the worst case scenario.
I was gonna say, or it does come to pass, but it's like monkey's paw.
Yeah, or it's monkey's paw. It's hilarious, because like people are like, wait, so how come can Sanguinius and Conrad Kurz get away with looking into the future, but Eldrad Ulthran can't.
Because they don't
It's
want
called
to. It's
one
being
of them
forced
does
upon
it-
them.
One of them does it to the point it drives him insane without his consent, and the other one manages to block it out enough of the time that it doesn't drive him insane.
It's also a little bit more than that. So when the Eldar look into the future, they're trying to stop the futures that they see, or are trying to put stuff in place for the future that they want, which is how the 40k universe just goes, nah, you can't do that. When it came to Conrad Kurz, as it was said, he sees, like, every possibility, and he just goes with the worst case scenario each and every time because he can't change anything. Yeah. He just accepts it.
Another good example of the future sight thing is actually from the Forges of Mars books, where there is an Eldar Farseer who has foreseen she is going to have quite a few kids, which for the Eldar is a big fucking deal. But she also sees that there's a Black Templar squad that is going to kill those kids. So she takes it upon herself to go and hunt down that squad and gets killed in the process, making sure she never has those kids in the first place.
This is what we call, folks, stupidity at its finest.
Yep, and for the case of Sanguinius, his future sight, remember that he never actually tried to change the future. He was shown multiple times, like, no, this is your outcome. You are going to die. But instead of running away or trying to change it, he knew that, like, there's no getting out of it. He's going to die here, whether he likes it or not. So he walked willingly into his death because he knew he couldn't change it. For the Eldar, they're fucked either way. For the Necrons, they're diviners. Remember that, where with the Necrons, it's the universe fucks with us, so we fuck back, right? It's why, like, when Orican makes a prediction, he's making a prediction based off of calculations and mathematics, like probability scenarios. And then, if his prediction is wrong, time travel back in time, make sure that those predictions come true.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to say that all of the Necron technology, like when the Eldar look into the future, they're using the warp to look into the future. All of the Eldar technology is in the material world. It doesn't touch the warp. They don't interact with those energies because bad.
Which just makes it even funnier.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of aspect warriors, I wonder what happened to Karandras. Yeah. Karandras. Who is that again? The striking scorpion.
Who is apparently currently missing because he didn't get a new model.
Ah,
Is the reason. For story-related reasons, he is missing, along with the Phoenix Lord of the Shadow Spectres and the Phoenix Lord of the Shining Spears.
Yeah. He's just we don't know what happened to him. You want the real world reason? GW didn't update his model. In lore reason, we don't know what happened to him. We do know what happened to the Ghost Spectre aspect shrine, but that story also got retconned, so that's fun. Thanks, GW. Love you, James. It was a Forge World campaign book for the Ghost Spectre one. Invasion of Enid or something.
Is it Myrmidon?
I'm looking it up. Warhammer Vault. It's a Forge World book. Give me a sec. I remember, chat. I'm a reliable source of 40k information because I have the vault. Unlike a lot of other fuckheads.
Also, GW just is constantly forgetting that there's another Phoenix Lord that they never mention.
Which one is that?
There is oh god, is it the Red Hunter or the Red Course? It's like it's the pilot one. There's a fighter pilot one.
They might have, yeah.
He's in
Doom of-
one of the Forge. He's in one of the Forge World books.
It's Doom of Mymeria. Doom of Mymeria. Which is the Imperial Armor Volume 11 book, which is basically Death Corps of Krieg and Red Scorpions versus the Eldar in Chaos Space Marines. Because the Eldar basically learned that, like, oh my god, we found one of the Aspect Shrine leaders for the Ghosts, for, like, the Spectres. And they trace it down to this planet, and they go heaven or hell on this planet against the Krieg and the Space Marines, and the Chaos Space Marines get involved, because just like, ooh, pillaging!
I didn't realize, Warrant Inquisitor, really did pretty well in how a Hellbrute dismantles a fucking Space Marine. This dude's in tatters.
Yeah, we don't know what happened
Sorry
to
about that.
Karandras. We have zero clue what happened to him. Is he dead? Is he alive? He is currently in the Void. He is currently in GW's Void. Not even given the honor of trapped in Trazen's library. Actually, is it worse to be
Which
trapped?
a lot of people have.
Wait, is it actually worse to be put there or be put in the Void?
I think it's worse being Trazen's library, cause
Yeah.
if you think about it, being trapped in Trazen's little collection is the fate of some of the strongest individuals of the universe.
Right, and you don't get
And
to
they-
leave. You don't get
It's
to
much
leave.
rather be dead.
Yeah, you don't get to leave Trazen's
Yeah.
vault. People come back from the Void. People don't come back from Trazen's vault.
Yeah, everyone who's in his vault, like, well, thanks to the Warhammer animation, one of Abaddon's fucking Black Legion Terminator squad.
Oh,
is
yeah, he-
permanently stuck in ever launching loop.
Oh, that's such a funny. That is such a funny short.
And they're stuck with Drukari of all individuals,
Like,
reliving the same loop over and over again.
guys, like
And he's just like, you could choose not to be here, and they're just like, what? Yeah, just I don't know.
it's
Stop.
also where the it's
The
also where
door's
the
open. You could leave anytime.
it's also the
Like,
meme.
I don't know.
It gave birth to the meme of, oh no, he's hot for Trazen, because he does the seductive chin scratch thing with one of the guys. It's just,
Yeah, with the
it's
leader
beautiful.
of the
it's beautiful.
Terminator crew.
It's beautiful. I love it. So funny.
No, what I should have listened. Like, you probably should have. There, because it's the Necrons. Fuck that. Anything Eldar related, you stay where I can keep my fucking thumb over you. Thanks to the war in heaven. Right? So,
What were you saying there,
honestly, it could get 1,000 times worse.
I was just gonna say that I think the best Warhammer Plus animation they've done with the Drukari is the one where the Drukari are attacking the Imperial planet, and the Imperials are like, we have this ancient device that will summon like our angels to come and save us, like left over from during the Great
Iron
Crusade.
Warriors.
And they activate it, and the Iron Warriors show up. This is Iron Warrior distress beacon. Iron Warrior.
No, the funniest part to me
They
is
beat the Drukari.
Oh, they do.
Is she a lieutenant?
Yeah.
Is she a lieutenant or is she a sergeant?
She's a
like a
sergeant.
s-
The
she's
dude,
like
the dude was a lieutenant.
Yeah, and she's the most stalwart defender of the entire bunch, and she ends up being the one where they're just like, yeah, you're representing what's left now.
Well, because they gave the two of them a choice, and the lieutenant decided, oh hey, yeah, I'm gonna bow to chaos, so they kill him because he's weak.
And put
Yeah,
her in
like
charge.
it's the funniest shit to me is like the most stalwart one to the Emperor's fucking will is the one who becomes the new fucking Iron Warrior's basic
Overseer.
delegate? right? Like,
overseer basically for the
yeah, like
Good job, team.
Well,
Good job, team.
It's the funniest fucking thing to me because it's just like, yes,
she who basically told the Drukhari to go fuck themselves and told an Iron Warrior who's 10 millennia old to go fuck himself.
I mean,
It's the
that's-
one who's now putting the head of her commander and all those like him on a pole.
Mhm.
Irony
Well,
at
the-
its finest.
one of my favorite books that shows like the process of brainwashing someone to be like a cultist is from the Word Bearers Omnibus.
Oh, it's fucked.
Where, oh yeah, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's fucked.
And it's just a slow process. Like they don't, the dude that it's from the main perspective of doesn't even know it's chaos. He doesn't understand at all. They're just saying like this weird words to him. It's demonic they're speaking. But he doesn't understand and it just gets in his brain and drives him mad.
So, what other question do we have here? So have the Catan always been around? Yeah, so, the Catan, those big Catan shards, the Nightbringer, the Void Dragon, that's not what they were originally. The Catan were balls of sentient fucking gas that, essentially, like,
energy.
yeah, like, they floated around the galaxy, just eating suns. It's why the Necron sun was so fucked up, because one of those balls of gas was just knowing it. We don't know, it's never stated how intelligent or how sentient these balls of gas were, but they were sentient enough to know that's my food source. We don't know if they were always malicious or if the Necrons force shoving a bunch of them into one body is what made them malicious.
Yeah, like the Necrons specifically crafted bodies for them in the shape of their own pantheon that the Necrons believed were already dead.
Yeah.
Like,
good job, team.
because
Mind
because
you,
the thing that you have to remember as well is that the Necrons, by like, even though their sun was literally killing them, and their society was like dying out and their species was dying, they did the Solarian thing from Mass Effect. They only live like 30 years, so you need to make you need to make the best of that. So their technology got before they encountered the old ones, they were the most technologically advanced society in the universe that didn't use magic.
Yeah. And also their society was very death-based, very death-culty.
Yeah, so the Catan, they claim to have existed just as long, if not longer, than the old ones. It's a very hard claim to verify. We know they've been around for a long, long time.
Honestly, I doubt they've been around as long as the Chaos Gods.
Well, the Chaos Gods are literally the anthropomorphic personifications of concepts.
Yeah. So, like, they've been there, like, the Chaos Gods have been around for as long as there has been sentient thought in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And this,
Point I like to bring up is once a Chaos God has been born, they've always existed.
Yeah. And this is one of the bigger things in 40K that I really want people to understand. 40K makes it abundantly clear that humanity, although they are the main characters in 40K and 30K, the galaxy could give less of a fuck. And that everything that's happening around the Imperium, it's been there longer than they've been around.
It's happened before.
Like, I remember a commenter, when I said that Draknien was created from the first murder, they got upset because they're just like, the sword can't be that powerful. Cain and Abel was the first murder. Cain and Abel is the first murder in the Bible for humanity. Draknien does not specify which race it came from. It just says the first murder. Like, it's very easy to confuse that concept in your head. Because, like, if you're a Christian, you'll think Cain and Abel. If you're Jewish, you'll think something else. Again, I don't know.
No, Jewish would be Cain and Abel still.
Oh, okay. Good to know. For Muslims, it's different. Whatever the fuck. Like, it's different for everybody. But Draknien's description, I was born from the first murder, like the first malicious murder. And it will never tell you or never specify what that means and when it happened.
It's very human-centric to believe we birthed it.
And it's very clear in the Abaddon novels, when he's going for Draknien, that all of the wielders are different races of varying shapes, sizes, armor patterns, everything.
Yeah, because the sword wants you to slay the king of your race, whatever that is.
Yeah, like, what the fuck does that even mean? And
what it means is that Draknien is literally the 40k name for the Slayer of Kings, which is Archeon's sword in Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, it's...
And it's implied to be the same sword in older source books.
So yeah, welcome to 40k. Please pay attention to the wording. Because a lot of...
very important.
Because, like, I've seen a lot of people state, like, Draknien is the sword made from the murder of Cain and Abel. No! That is very wrong.
Much like consent during an orgy, wording is very important.
Exactly. There is...
It's also important where you stick your sword.
It is. The Cain and Abel, though, the Cain and Abel bit is actually brought up in Horus Heresy with the Anatheme. The Anatheme was the weapon used to kill Abel. Which I thought was like, that's fucking wild. Good to know. Because the sword specifically talks about, yeah, no, I was used to slit some brother's throat. I think his name was Abel or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's
very nonchalant about it because it's but one death among untold it's caused.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm passing this off. Very stupid, by the way. Anyway,
I mean, that being said, I don't think I'm going to trust anything that a Chaos Sword says.
No, like, don't. It is very clear, like, there is some truth in what Chaos tells you, but the truth is wrapped around a myriad of lies. So, like, don't think too hard on it. Just be like, okay, whatever you say, asshole.
But the best lies are based in truth.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, the Legend of the Five Rings Scorpion Clan mantra: the highest wisdom is to lie with the truth and to tell the truth with lies.
Mm-hmm. How high were the writers of the 40k universe?
Very.
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 It was the 1980s, and they were punks and on drugs.
What something that I always think of while talking Warhammer, and this could just be me, is what would really happen if somebody just didn't think and went into this blind with no idea for any of the context and started reading some of the more out-of-pocket stories.
Oh, they'd be... Oh, God.
What would happen? What? Like, take your average Joe Smo who doesn't even know what Warhammer is.
That depends which books are we talking about here.
I was gonna say. I think that's
okay. We'll pick one from each.
Oh, let Will speak.
I was gonna say, I think that's actually difficult because, like, the more out there stuff in 40k is, like, buried under loads of, like, other, like, it's all paratextual in the sense that it's all stuff that you piece together from reading multiple novels, multiple rule books, multiple sources that provides this grander narrative. Very rarely do any of the individual books go into anything in detail other than, wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like a really good there's a couple of, like, book club series where people do this, but like one of them I watch, one of the people doesn't really have a background knowledge of 40k, and they're reading the books and they're like, I really enjoyed this story, but what was this bit about? And it's like, oh, it's a reference to this thing from like 30 years ago in one paragraph of a rule book written in the 1980s, like, or a White Dwarf article from like 1994 or something.
Yeah, it's so fucked. Like for me, guys, the most fucked stories that I can think about in recent memory, aside from the absolute acid trip that was fucking the end and the death, there is the Blood Angels omnibus where the main character, he's falling to the Black Rage, and their only solution is like throw him in a fucking coffin.
I remember.
Yeah, like
that.
that's a good one to throw at somebody who has no contextual clues about the world.
But by the way, the entire book is him essentially having an acid trip while they're pumping new blood out of him, like pumping like his old blood out of him and new blood into him. And he's
with
having like
some of Sanguinius's blood as well.
With some of Sanguinius's blood, but it also turns out like there was a Sanguinary guard's blood in there, in the tubes, who was poisoned by a Drukhari dart. So like he's having like these nightmare visions of like that one scene in Ice Age 2 with like the tribal figures like stabbing the fucking mammoths and things, but instead of like the mammoths, it's a bunch of Drukhari trying to stab him. It is.
But, like, but that's also why people like do that thing of like, okay, the book to read to get into it is like Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus.
Yeah, the
Because
Eisenhorn trilogy.
Because they're all about, here's how the Imperium works. Like,
never go wrong with it.
Like, it's my, and I get on my soapbox with this, and I get that, but it's like, it's why I want to occasionally like say to people when they do recommend things like, oh, you should read Horus Rising, and I'm like, Horus Rising doesn't work unless you understand 40k.
Yeah, like even in the review that I'm doing for it, I say like you have to have an understanding of what 40k is and what a Space Marine is.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's a very clear thing that I'm starting this off with. Like you have to have that basic foundational knowledge.
And specifically, like what the typical Space Marine is like in 40k, so that the ones in 30k are a contrast.
Yeah.
I think a good starting point, and for some of the books for 40k, tends to be Ultramarine books for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels odd, but I feel like that's the best way to really break into Horus Rising is if you've read an Ultramarine book.
The Bell King Space Wolf ones are also not bad, because they're very they're just basically like very Space Viking adventure.
The writers just party with Motley Crue in the 80s and never stopped, didn't they?
We talked about this several times.
No, they
but
partied with
Salamanders
Saxon.
They party with Saxon, yeah. But yeah, like
and Brian May apparently.
There's also I know, like, I didn't want to talk about the Imperium too much. It's kind of hard with 40k because like they're so fucking prominent. Another fucked up story, which was, thanks Malal. By the way, thanks everybody. I had to read this one. Thanks for that, everybody. Was the Labyrinth, which was a short story. I read that and I could understand what was going on, but holy fuck! It is one of those things where it's like, did I just get through reading that Arkham comic by fucking Grant Morrison? What the fuck am I reading? Because, like, I stare into the abyss and the abyss stares back. It's, like, basically the ending.
I mean, I've got no words, to be honest. I kind of was waiting to see if you ever brought up how horrible it was trying to do that dive during the Malal video. but you really didn't. And I was
So-
like, huh.
You know what?
I
I'll
mean,
go over it here. I'll go
I
over it
liked
here.
it.
I'll go. It's such a fucking deep dive. It's such a fucking mystery, for like some things in Warhammer. And when everyone hears the fifth Chaos God, like the missing fifth Chaos God, the Chaos God who got fucked over, Malal, Malice, whatever the fuck, everyone hypes him up to be this big thing. And like, we don't know what happened. The mystery is so fantastical. It's this big thing. Stop. This is like, this mystery is puddle fucking deep and it hurts me. Like,
This is why I bring up Malal. Is for people like Boss to go through, learn the breakdown, and be on the same page I am of going, I regret learning any of this because it was barely worth my time.
it is, this is where I've learned that a lot of people, you know, people are busy. People are busy, I get it. People are lazy when it comes to research in Warhammer. Anybody who says, like, this is a complete mystery, fuck them. Fuck them! Oh my god, this is not a
I
mystery.
say it to troll people. I won't lie. I do it to troll people.
You are
who
part of the
refuse to read.
problem. Fuck you.
Hold on! If somebody asks enough questions, though, and is genuinely, like, curious and wanting to learn, I will prevent them from going down that rabbit hole. To
It
be
is-
nice.
Like, chat, I knew that, like, Malal wasn't this big thing. That's why I never really wanted to talk about it. But then, like, of course, you guys beat the goal. Again, I'm so fucking grateful for that. Thank you so much. I love you. But, like, going into it, I'm like, okay, like, it's probably gonna be, like, a deep hole. Not like, trying to figure out, Custodes deep. Like, how far does the Custodes rabbit hole go? Or how, like, far does, Abaddon go? No, it literally took me, like, 5 hours. It literally took me 5 hours to, like, research all of Malal. And I was sitting here like... The only cool thing about Malal was that the creators of Judge Dredd made him. That is literally it.
Yeah, more or less.
The only reason why I wanted you to do the video on it is because I knew it would make you mad.
Again, it's nothing against wanting to see you rage at the world. It's more of wanting to see somebody else actually, like, experience it with me, you know?
What did you say there? What were you saying there, Will? I'm sorry.
Oh, and it was probably done to tie into a source book that was coming out at the time.
Probably.
Right. It was a character produced, I believe, either for an adventure book or probably originally for a White Dwarf article. And one of the things that the Realm of Chaos books, at that point probably Lost in the Damned, which is the first one, which is actually really interesting because Lost in the Damned, this source book comes out and it's the rules for 40k and Warhammer Fantasy and also Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay for Chaos. Chaos did not exist in any of these prior to that, which is crazy considering that book comes out in like 1988 and Warhammer 40k has been out for 2 years at that point.
Yeah, and
it just didn't have Chaos in it. Like Chaos just wasn't a thing.
Yeah, and so when researching Malal, it was literally I just went on to Lexicanum and I just followed every source that I could, ranging from the Sons of Malice to Caleb Darkblade to the original creators. And then, like, the most confusing thing was trying to figure out how the fuck this all happened. Like, how did GW lose the copyright to a god in Warhammer? And it's because it was the 80s. Copyright law was different. What the fuck do you want from me? Because I don't know British copyright law, but from what I was able to research and understand and ask around about was, if you made the damn thing, it was yours. Since it was made by two people, it belonged to them, not GW. And, like, that's the most interesting thing about this whole fucking thing. And it's just like, now Malal is just for edgy teenagers that are like, oh, I'm not like those other chaos worshippers. I'm not like those other ones. Yeah, I got like the fucking cannibalistic crackheads from fucking Discount Camino.
Discount Camino.
I mean,
So-
at this point, that's just basically the creations of Bile.
So I just want to point something else out here with the Malal stuff. For people unaware of just why Malal is at all cared about, you can mostly blame the fantasy community. I won't even lie. You can kind of slap that one on us. We got really up in arms about him going away. Cause
genuinely, if Malal was written, like, if we all stopped giving a shit about Malal, who would notice? It is only kept alive because some person sees Malal and goes, "Who's that?" And then 1,000 clickbait YouTube videos pop up about the missing fifth Chaos God, and they play it vague because they only read like the fucking paragraph.
I mean, it's a hell of a
just-
it's a hell of a clickbait title.
which
It is.
don't get
Let Alice speak,
don't get
please.
me wrong.
I always find it so wild because it's like I get not everyone is going to be able to have access to so much of the material that's there. But again, as you mentioned, going through at least the lexiconum, following the links there, is the least you can do when it comes to looking things up regarding like 40k.
Yeah, and by the way, thanks you to the comments of that video. People did confirm they are brought up in Cadia Stands, and they are an antagonist within Gothic, like Battlefield Gothic 2. Because like there is a mission where like they're trying to take their planet back.
Not much of an antagonist. They're side mission at best.
Side mission at best. So it's just like, cool. They were mentioned. Have they been mentioned since? No. Then why should I care? Like, I couldn't be fucked enough to go buy a $50 game. That's how little I gave a shit. But hey, like, I learned some things. This wasn't anything to get mad over. It was just one of those things where, wow, this does not deserve the attention it gets. It is completely, you learn it, you know who it is, you know what it is, and then you move on with your life because it has no bearing on the plot. And Oreo Cookie Marines. Yep, it's just, you want Oreo Cookie Marines? There you go.
They matter probably about as much as felonids do.
Yep.
Oh god, don't bring up felonids.
Anyway,
The furries can hear it.
does the Drukari have the choice to get the hell out of Komarog to just go to a craft world or a plant full of Exodites? Yes!
Yep.
So this is something that a lot of people don't know about Eldar Society. You are not stuck in Eldar Society. No one gives a shit about what you do in Eldar Society. If you want to move from Komarog to a craft world, or to an Exodite world, or to the Harlequins, or to the Yanari, you can. No one is stopping you, unless you're a Corsair or Drukari who has debts to pay.
I made the Harlequins kidnap them a lot, so.
But like genuinely, in Eldar Society, you are free to move wherever you want. It's just that a lot of Drukari choose to stay in Komarog because they truly believe that they are the last remnants of what the Eldar are and what they were. They believe that they will straight up look to a craft world Eldar and call them a hick. Because to them, that's what the craft worlders are. They're a bunch of fucking stuck-up hicks.
Oh, it's worse than that. They're the craft worlders are basically like like evangelical Mormons, basically.
Yeah, no, that's a good description.
I've
They're
never
like-
heard them described that way before.
They're like, we need to be like pure in our beliefs, so we're gonna separate ourselves from the rest of our society.
And-
Like,
And then the Drukhari call them cringe. Because,
mhm.
like, dude, you're missing out. I'm on my 5th snorted human.
and then they look at the Exodites and are like, yeah, I'm not actually that into dinosaurs. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like, okay, if you want to live like a caveman, go ahead. But, you stay over there, I'll stay over here. And then, like, when it comes to the Harlequins, there's like that, it's unsaid, but it's that very much like, I don't fuck with you, you don't fuck with me. Because, like, the Harlequins are dangerous. They will straight up snap your neck, when you're not looking. Scary lads. And then, like, the Yanari came out, and now the Drukhari are kind of split on that one. Granted, there's not been a lot of fucking Yanari lore, thanks GW, when we get in that update. But last time we checked in with them, it was, some of the Drukhari are like, hey, there might be a chance here for us to not be eaten. So I'm gonna go play this out, because, it's my decision to make. And then the other Drukhari go, cool, Vecht wants your leader dead, so I'm gonna go, like, poison the fuck out of her if I can.
mhm.
Because, what Vecht says goes. Until someone stabs Vecht.
I do like that, like, you know, you've got all the various factions in 40k, and you've got, like, you know, Gazgul Mazuruk Thraka, the greatest, most powerful orc warlord that has lived since, you know, the days of, like, the beast and things like that. And then you've got, you know, the Silent King, the ancient ruler of the Necron race, returned from out of the galaxy, and the Tyranid hive mind, this amorphous, like, galaxy spanning, like, alien intelligence seeking to consume all life. And then you have the Drukhari, who are led by a mob boss.
Yeah, let's put it this way, chat. Imperium of Man, led by Primarch Robut Gilliman, son of the Emperor. Fucking Eldar Craft Worlds, led by, like, Eldar fucking War Shrines, led by possessed armors of, like, their finest warriors. Fucking Drukhari. I was a slave once, and then I got to be a big boss. You wanna know how cool I am? I killed one of my rivals with a comedically wrapped gift box, and inside it was a black hole.
Yeah, it's like yeah, you have the Phoenix Lords who are literally embodiments of aspects of the god of war. And, you know, the Eldar, who, okay, they have various leaders, but, like, you know, they have the greatest features, you know, basically Elrond of the 40k setting, and then Elf Al Capone.
Like, it's the Drukhari. This is what I love about the Dark Eldar, because, like, if I was to play, out of all the Eldar, the Drukhari are my favorite, because like they don't lie about what they are. They know they're better than you. They live up to those expectations, and they're such fucking dickheads. It's great.
I mean, like, technically, like, the two other leaders of their faction are BDSM Murder Mum and the first or possibly second greatest scientist in the galaxy in terms of biology.
And a possible Phoenix Lord, because we don't know what Drazar is.
Okay, fair, yes.
Like, what can you say about them genuinely? They're fucking creatures, the lot of them. Uh, and he opened up the door to piss off salamanders and howling griffins. Okay, he didn't do that directly. He did set up the ball for that. Because he wanted to fuck over his rivals. Everything Vect does is to fuck over a rival.
Or to stay in power.
Or to stay in power. In the case of the salamanders, bit, that was him genuinely fucking over a rival. Where, like, he captures a salamander strike barge and, like, plays it up about, like, how tough it is to crack. And then it's just like, hey, whoever cracks it, you know, they get, like, this big reward. And so, like, everyone floods into it because it's like, ooh, big reward, big tasty thing. And then, like, when the salamanders start fucking shit up, he's just like, oh, yeah, no, like, this guy was the one that was responsible for it. So he just throws one of the guys under the bus. And he gets rid of a direct rival that way. Genuinely the stupidest shit you'll read, but, like, genuinely hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, playing Lethal Company.
Yes.
So,
Oh, that just reminds me of a friend of mine who just purposely sets off mines. I remember one time I was going in for the jump to jump over a mine, and he decides to go forward to activate it. Funniest shit ever.
Funniest shit I've ever seen.
this, oh, God. All I'm being reminded of is the time that somebody thought it was a good idea to trust a Drukari in the same room as an Inquisitor.
Yeah, no, the Inquisition are doing themselves no favors when someone looks at a fucking Drukari and says, like, yeah, no, I trust that more than you.
Yeah.
Like, it's that thing where it's like, I don't know what the Inquisitor is gonna do, but I know exactly what the Drukari is gonna do.
It's really bad. If I'm remembering the story correctly, it was a rogue trader, and they just kind of looked between the two, and looked at the Inquisitor was just like, I don't want you on my ship. I would like to remove you, but I'm not losing the men to do so.
Yeah, it's,
I just...
Drukari are fun. I actually tried to play them back in, like, 8th edition. But, like, their playstyle just wasn't for me. But, like, out of all the Eldar, they are my favorite. Because, like, they're just honest about who they are and what they want. They're not like the Eldar will act pompous and, like, shitheads and then get themselves fucked over. The Drukari are just like, yo, I'm here for slaves, dude. Bye.
Where are them slaves at?
Where them slaves at? And, like, believe it or not, the Imperium has had less fire incidents with the Drukari than the Eldar. Because the Drukari actually understand that, like, if you give the Imperium what they want, they'll give you anything in return. Like, Golden Throne's fucking up? Oh yeah, no, we know how this works. If you pay us in slaves, we'll do it. Like, we'll fix it. And they did! And then the Drukari left! Like, they didn't fuck anyone over. In fact, the Drukari homunculus that was in charge of it, he, like, walks into the throne room and goes, wow! How can we copy this? Like, this is great. And they're like, what do you...
The custodians were not happy.
Doesn't he also look at it afterwards and go, I don't want to be next to this thing anymore?
No, he's completely fine with it. That homunculus was fucked. Like, he's staring at it going like, how do I replicate this? This is great.
Well, I mean,
The custodians were not happy with that response.
No,
yeah, it's a giant device that keeps a person in a state of, like, psychic torment forever.
And, like, you have to put so many other people through torture. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like, how do I do this? And then he figured out how to do it! And then he fucked off! I think he died later. I think he did die, though. But, like, not before the Drukari got everything they needed to fuck off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the line about there's an old line about Skaven in fantasy. It very much applies to the Dark Eldar as well, or to the Drakari as well, which is that they are a tyranny moderated by assassination.
Yeah.
They're fucking creatures, and
So,
I adore the pirates.
so question for y'all. What's worse, a Drukari taking interest in you, or you suddenly having a lot of friendly Necrons near you?
Oh, I'll take the
Ooh, okay.
Necrons. I'll take the Necrons.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
'Cause,
rather
like-
have the Necrons.
Because, like, with the Necrons, if they find, like, they've wasted their time with me, they'll just atomize me. I'll be dead. I won't... It's not my problem anymore. The Dark Eldar will turn me into a hat. Or throw me in the gladiatorial pits where I'll be tortured forever. Like, there is a very clear, yeah, no, we don't fuck with that. We don't touch that. We don't look at that. Drukari are very much the... We don't play that way. We don't fuck like that. Necrons, it's just like, that's the thing about Necrons, surprisingly enough. If you can reason with them, they are actually very polite, and they will talk with you. Like, Trazyn is on record saying, like, you know if you actually just talk to them, right? Like, you'd get a lot farther than just stabbing them. Granted,
Stabbing's fun.
granted, like...
Oh yeah, like in I was gonna say in like the current like fluff, like the Votan as an example, the kin of the Votan straight up are negotiating with the Necrons and the Pariah Nexus.
Yeah, like, you don't need, like, this is what I like about the Necrons in, like, 40k, because now they're being, like, further expanded upon. Yeah, there still is that, like, that Terminator aspect to them with, like, the Destroyer virus and everything, and, like, those Necrons who are just like, nah, fuck all life in general, but, like, they're diverse.
And they have emotion and character now.
Yeah, and, like, the spirit of what they are isn't gone, it's just fleshed out. And you got Necrons who, like Trazyn, who are just like, yeah, I don't need to take a hammer to this, because that's a waste of goddamn time. I can instead just either mind shackle this lesser species and get what I want from that, or I can just talk to them. And, like, that's... Like, he goes willingly to go talk to Belisarius Cawl, because he knows, like, yeah, no, I have something to offer, and he won't try to stab me. And, like, as said, with the Leagues of Votan, they're interested in mineral wealth, and they can bargain with the Silent King and his forces, because just, like, we can just grab a planet and leave. Like, we're literally not doing anything that's gonna cause him grief. Because, in the short term, who the fuck cares?
I think they're meant to be in negotiations with Emotech, because what they
Emotech.
want is because they want the Blackstone.
Oh, right. Yeah, and the pylon. Yeah, no, that makes much more sense. With Emotech, it's just like, cool, I give flesh bags that I'll kill later, useless stone that means nothing to me.
There's a good little short story where they send an Ironkin to do the negotiations, and it takes off like part of its void suit and reveals like the circuitry and the thing of like its body, and the Necron is described as being somewhat unnerved by this, because it's like clearly a machine.
Yeah, and
it's clearly more primitive than me, but it is thinking.
Yeah, it can process, it can rationalize, it can reason. It's... Yeah, so, like, this is, like, the really cool thing about, like, modern 40k is that we're getting fleshed out alien races in 40k. So, like, orcs aren't just, like, this barbaric, like... Yeah, they're still, like, the funny, really fucked up fungus men that we know, but, like, they're a little bit deeper than just, like, oh, see a thing, wah, smash it with a stick. It's very much like, okay, how do they go about smashing it with a stick? Do they want to smash it with a stick? Like, they're...
How do they want to smash it?
Yeah, like, they straight up tell an Imperial, like, yeah, no, you're wrong about us. We can rationalize. We can think. We just don't go about the same way you do because it's a waste of fucking time. Like,
We're only interested in one thing, and that's fighting.
you can't judge an orc because the orc lives the simplest life.
Yeah.
Like, they don't think about why they were created. They don't, like, get existential dread. They aren't looking for an answer in a meaningless universe. They're literally just there to have fun. And what's their form of fun? Well, to us, it's the worst thing imaginable. War, death, like, fighting, loud noises. They love that shit. Because that's just what they are. Like, they're clearly doing something right if they're living. There's a bit. Don't worry, I'm working on it. Thank you. Thank you, Shadow. Appreciate you.
Yep.
He's banned, don't worry. Well, they're banned. It's
Well,
a fucking bot.
I'm so glad I don't have to deal with them as much over here because I kind of like have made a name for myself in the few communities they come from where they're just like, oh, that's not good. Yeah. I make content out of people like that.
It's not even a person, it's a bot. Like, there's no point. It's just a bot.
No, that's an actual person. They're
What's the
way
what's-
they run a.
What's the difference? If that's how they act, what's the difference? They have no personality. They have nothing. They're nothing but a bot. They're not even human. Like, that's what I mean. They're a bot. If that's how they act,
When you
there's
put
literally
it
no
like
difference.
That.
Because, like, if that's all you're gonna do online is just be that fucking miserable and sad, you're a bot. Like, if you put that much energy into it, Christ.
Yeah, no, I can see your reasoning, and I can agree with it.
I mean,
I just proceed to tear them down for being almost as bad as neckbeards, if not worse than them.
But that's what they want. They want to be torn down. Because then they have an excuse to keep being toxic.
True, there are people like that. Really odd people.
Yeah, they're
Oh, no.
not well. They're bots.
Gotta be honest. I think if you run into individuals who are like that, you should just.
You call them what they are. You call them a sad, pathetic
I mean,
bot.
to the general audience listening to us.
Right.
Yeah. I feel bad for you. As somebody who's ran into them, I just kind of turn my head and go about my day and act like I did not see the train wreck of a human individual who should have been left as a parent's back shot. But I digress. We go about our days.
Either way, it's
I knew that was gonna hit you.
either way, it's basically just like, who the fuck cares? They're mad even when they win. Like, how can you live such a miserable life? Like, at that point, you're a robot. You have no emotion aside from, like, anger. You only function on one thing. If I take that thing away from you, you shut down. That's it. That's all they got.
Pretty much. I am currently getting gas spat because I caused somebody a choke on food with my statement. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
I did not know what other accurate words to use.
But yeah,
As you
back
were
to
saying, sorry.
back to actual fun topics of conversation. I really like that, like,
Aren't
all
we
these.
seeing-
I really like that all these aliens in 40K, all the other factions are finally getting some deep dive into their fluff about who they are as a faction. And it's really helping out in the long run for Games Workshop, because now they're seeing, like, oh, the other factions outside of Space Marines are getting, like, people are liking them. People want to play them. Like, Tau Empire, as we just said, got a brand new book. And
yeah, I was going to read the synopsis of that, and then we didn't.
yeah.
Oh,
Please read
yeah.
the synopsis.
The book is called Elemental Council, and the story, this is from the Black Library website. In a moment of crisis for the Tau Empire, an enigmatic ethereal, Yorai, assembles an elite elemental council, a veteran fireblade, a watercast spy, a peerless aircast pilot, and a maverick earthcast engineer, in hope of curtailing a growing insurgency on the planet of Kauquo, led by the ruthless and brilliant Atramax, a space marine of the Raptors chapter.
You know, the no nonsense, we're gonna snipe you from like 100 kilometers away chapter.
Who's fermenting a rebellion.
Note, every other Tau book that's been out there has either been about how Farsight is like the coolest Obi-Wan character to ever exist, or Shadow Sun and her dealing with the Death Guard and Farsight's alleged betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I mean, that's not entirely true. They had 2 other books that I can name off the top of my head.
Which books were
They had
those?
one. Well, they had a book called On She, which was about he's no longer a special character, but he used to be a special character. He was a named ethereal with amazing abs. And
What?
What? Why'd you have to bring up the abs part?
look at the model.
Okay, so is this you telling us to go look at a model while you're explaining this?
Pretty much. And the other one,
1 second.
there was a novelization of Fire Warrior.
Oh,
Oh.
fuck.
That sounds like a shit show.
I've never read it.
So can you spell that character's name for me real quick that I'm pulling up a model of?
On She. AUN, comma.
This
SHI.
guy, fucking... This lad.
Yeah, but look at his abs.
But look at his abs.
He's also in Tacticus.
Is he?
Oh, this guy! I had... Oh, God. Oh, this argument is gonna... It wasn't
What?
even an argument.
What
it,
is
it
this?
felt like I was listening...
I keep forgetting this guy fucking existed. What the fuck's with that face?
So...
He looks like
Yeah, I know you
Oogway
guys
from
are gonna laugh
fucking-
at this.
He looks like Oogway from fucking Kung Fu Panda.
So, I saw... It felt like a child's argument. 2 people arguing about why he looks like the Navi from Avatar, or if the Navi copied him. And I can't unsee it from the argument, but I also know from being a fan of both this and Avatar that there's no correlation whatsoever between those 2.
Yeah, that model came out in like 2002.
Which,
Yeah.
fair.
And James Camerson had already had a concept of the Navi before this model had ever come out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a creature.
Yeah, James Cameron had a
Yeah.
concept of the Navi. It was called Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, like apparently that book is like it is getting glowing reviews from like everyone. Apparently has read it.
That's great.
Um,
Because, like, as I said, a lot of the Tau books have either been Farsight is so cool porn, or it's Shadow Sun standing there and going like, I fucking hate humanity, I fucking hate this. Like, this sucks. And it's just like, no, you're not a god, you don't exist. As the greater good god is just like, oh, I exist. Watch this cool shit. Make a Death Guard fleet disappear into the warp. Like, watch this
That's
cool
actually
shit.
something I meant to ask questions of. How the fuck is this working currently with the greater good being a god? Like, is this the same way that Eldar gods are a thing?
So so since the Tau have such little spiritual and psychic presence within the warp, their god could not manifest properly. But then, what races did they start recruiting?
Humans.
Humanity.
Yep. And what other race? Like we had other races in there too. It is confirmed that some Eldar, Leagues of Votan, basically any race with Psychers in them, willingly joined up, essentially, and go from there. And that's how the God of the Greater Good was born. Is that they just had enough psychic consciousness to make her.
That's
Leagues of
Richard.
Votan willingly. Okay.
That part has been retconned.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, so Demiurge is just it is the Tau word for what the kin are, essentially. In the same way that like Gwila is their name for humans.
Yeah.
From the Tau's perspective, they had encountered this strange nomadic spacefaring race that they were beginning to bring into their fold. From the particular league that encountered them's perspective, they'd encountered this empire that they'd struck a trading relationship with and were shipping stuff back to the other leagues. They had no intention of ever joining the Tau.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Tau have now started expanding into league-controlled space, so those deals are now less popular, and like that particular league are like, guys, you kind of ruined a good thing we had going.
Good job, team.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Good job, team.
Also, it, like the one that, because it's a very minor thing of like, so the faction is called the Leagues of Votan, the race is called the Kin. If that makes sense.
They will always be squats to me.
That's the Imperial name for them. The Leagues of Votan are effectively a nation state that Kin live in, made up primarily of Kin.
Yeah.
In the same way that like the Craft Worlds are a nation state of Eldar, basically.
Yeah.
Because the Votan are the supercomputers that run it, basically.
So yeah.
Which, as you touched on in one of your videos, basically every kin basically resides in at some point at the end of their life.
Yep. Their brains get the... So, when a kin dies, they are recovered by a group called the Embier, who are basically... They're sort of like apothecaries, but they also like birth kin as well. And their body is recovered, and then their brain is like digitized and like uploaded into the Votan through a thing called the Fane. And that joins like the collective like memory of like there is, and like every league has its own Votan. Like that's like a thing. Some have multiple Votan that work as like it's in the High Carol's Oath, the newest book, that the Trans-Hyperion Alliance, who are like they're the Explory League, essentially. They're the ones that go outside of kin space and like outside of league space and like try to find and try to discover new opportunities. Like literally, their battle cry is onwards to opportunity. They have their Votan are, it's 3 distinct Votan that you get 3 messages whenever you ask it a question, and sometimes those are the same. But yeah, like, and yes, this is becoming a problem because the hard drives are starting to get full of like
Uh-oh.
memories.
Uh-oh.
So just making sure that my little brain here is understanding full sail.
Mhm.
Are we looking at data corruption from not enough storage space?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that really what's okay?
That's where they're
Sure.
heading.
Sure, Warhammer, why don't you just throw in another civilization ending due to rampant memories going wrong?
Welcome.
Oh, like, some of the cores have already gone senile. One of them went insane.
Oh,
Thanks,
that's
Iron Warriors.
lovely.
No, that wasn't Iron Warriors. That was Tyranids.
Oh.
Good job, team. Good job, team.
So
We're doing great.
So,
Okay, so is it the Tyranids because they killed so many kin?
yeah. So the Votan are giant, super advanced STC supercomputers. They're also probably psychic, or
And
they
AI.
have. They're complete AI, but they have like, if not, they are not themselves psychic. They have an ability to, like through science, interact with psychic energy, or something like that. It's very vague, because they don't want to get down into specifics. And so the reason that the Tyranids are such a big threat to, because they've made the Tyranids like a really big, like somewhat almost existential threat to the leagues, is because when the Tyranids kill you, they consume you, and there's nothing of you left to be taken back, and so you are lost forever. If you if a Tyranid kills you, you are almost definitely lost forever, unlike almost every other like thing they've encountered. Like if an orc, like, you know, kills you with a big chopper or something, you're probably going to be recoverable. If a Tyranid kills you, they break you down into biomass. That's why the kin, they don't call them the Tyranids, they call them the Bane.
They're the greatest threat to everybody.
But yeah, so it's tying back to the squats were eaten by Tyranids thing. One of the League holds was in the path of, I think it's High Fleet Behemoth or Kraken, and I don't remember which. It's one of the two of them.
I think it'd be Leviathan. No?
No, it's older than that. It's like a couple hundred years ago. And it was on an asteroid that they strapped like engines to. And it had a Votan core in the middle of it. The Terran High Fleet, like, just washed over the hold ship, ate, killed, absorbed all of the kin, all of the biomass on it, and left the Votan core. But it constantly has the psychic resonance of the death screams of like its entire population, like suddenly being dumped into its systems, and it went insane.
All right, there is two things I need to do here. Answer this one question, and then wrap up stream because I need to go cook dinner. But first up the question: is it true that void shields are warp-based technology? Yes. Well, yes and no. It's complicated.
Kind of.
It's similar how are energy shields the same as kinetic shields?
They are a warp technology, but it was developed so long ago the Imperium doesn't understand how it works. It's just you punch in numbers, you pray to the Omnissiah, and you hope it works. But yeah, it is warp technology. The next biggest thing, and I know, like, I saw people talking about it earlier. My life never ends. The suffering never ends. Siege of Terra, Era of Ruin. Games Workshop. Guys, stop. This is 65 now. I love you. Why did you end this with an anthology? Fuck.
Well,
To piss
you're
off
forgetting.
you and everyone like you.
You're forgetting. We have the scouring to get to too.
I'm gonna
Oh my
stab. I'm gonna
God,
stab you in the dick.
I mean, to be fair, the Carrion Lord of the Imperium by ADB actually sounds awesome.
It does. So it's a new. For those that don't know, an anthology is a collection of short stories, and this one will be about smaller battles that happened during the invasion of Terra, and the final days of the Horus Heresy, and stories about the aftermath of it. Essentially, this is GW's Aftermath trilogy of books. The stories in it will be Angels of Another Age by John French, Fulgurite by Nick Kime, Fragments, All We Have Left by Dan Abnett, Ex Libris by John French, System Purge by Gav Thorpe, After the Dawn, The Darkness by Guy Haley, Homebound by Chris Raitt, and The Carrion Lord of the Imperium by Aaron Dembski-Bowden. Do we know what these stories are? Fuck no, but we will learn about them when the book comes out, which will be revealed at which we revealed at LVO.
I mean, to be fair, I think we can fairly safely say that a couple of them are going to be. So here are some loose ends, and I am now going to tie those up.
Pretty much.
Here are the characters that I introduced to the Horus Heresy. Here's what happens.
Yeah, we know that characters like Kirill Cinderman will be fine because they have to live into another series. Yeah. We don't know what is the ultimate fate of Euphrates Keeler. Essentially, we're just getting loose ends.
I think she's probably going to be martyred.
Probably. But at the end of the day, what can you do?
I would be shocked if basically Cinderman and Keeler is not what Fragments is about.
I'd be shocked too. But yeah, that's the end of the stream, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. Remember that this Friday is the collab stream between me and Lost in Spiral. We'll be playing Halo 2. No spoilers, please. I want her to experience all of the things. All of them. Including that one. I would like that to not be spoiled.
What's that one?
Oh, you know. You know.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
If I didn't spoil the flood, you're not spoiling that for her. So yeah, you all.
Yeah, that's gonna be a time.
You all have a fantastic night, and I'll see you all on Friday. And don't forget, the new video comes out this Saturday, so be ready for that. But until next time, chat, you all have a fantastic night. Make sure to take care of your mental health. Unplug from social media when you need to. Remember that if you don't live in the States, there's not much we can do aside from hope it gets better, pal. But if you are in the States, get moving. Call your congressman. Get moving. Get organizing. You keep telling me that you guys will rise up against tyranny. Time to fucking show it. Anyway.